Show. It is great to have Matt Hasselbeck with us today. And Matt, you've been in the spotlight lately with your effort to study CTE in hopes of discovering the progressive degenerative brain disease in living people. Tell us more about it. What motivated you to take this on?
Well, a bunch of years ago, I had decided to pledge my brain to science. I was asked to do it, and I have a passion for making the game safer, for making football safer for future generations, for my son, for my grandkids, hopefully. And so I've always had a passion for that kind of a thing. So right now, you cannot know if a person has CTE until they're dead, until they're deceased. And so there's a group of doctors in Boston, in San Francisco, and elsewhere around the country that really believe that we could maybe be able to diagnose CTE in the living. And so that's part of this study. So I joined it as their ambassador. You have to be 50 years old. So for my 50th birthday, which was recently, I volunteered to have a brain that's what I hope to be very healthy to study, to go along with the people that have given up their brains in kind of a symptomatic way. They have symptoms and they're not feeling great with their brain health. And so it was a 2-day study, did a bunch of stuff. I did really well on my tests and all that, so I'm grateful for that situation. But I'm also grateful to be an ambassador to, help science maybe diagnose and maybe even differentiate CTE from Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia.
Matt, I mean, you mentioned this is a passion. I know football is in your family, from your dad on, your brothers. But why was this so important for you to get involved with this and to volunteer your body and your brain?
Well, I think, in a weird way, playing quarterback, you get a lot of credit and you don't take that many hits. And the guys that were protecting me or, getting the ball back for me on defense or whatever, those guys take a lot more hits than I did as a quarterback. And, in a weird way, I felt like, they were always supporting me. I felt like this was a way to kind of support them. A lot of guys that I've played with, either older than me or even younger than me, aren't doing great. There are some symptoms. There are some guys that are symptomatic with something with their brain and mental health and those kinds of things. And so I felt like this was maybe a chance to step up and give back to them in a sense. Also, some people don't like to do a brain scan, a brain MRI. They get claustrophobic or they're bigger guys. And for me, having gone through it and can literally tell them exactly what the whole experience is like, I feel like I can be a better ambassador to the program, to the study for them. This study's been going on for 7 years. Or maybe it's almost 8 years now. I think we're maybe in 2 more years, we'll really have some definitive information that can help people right now that are living, never mind what it's going to do in the future. So I think that was probably my biggest motivation of getting involved the way that I did.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact you're just helping to take the lead on this thing. And it sure seems like there's some optimism in the future that you guys are going to have some progress there. Let's talk a little bit about Nashville. I know that's where you are right now. You and your brother Tim coaching high school football out there. He's the head coach. You were the offensive coordinator for a while. How much fun has that been?
Yeah, it's been incredible. And, I got to coach in Boston with my dad before I moved to Nashville, coaching my son. It was super fun. It was a dream come true. And then I moved to Nashville. I'm coaching with my brother and my dad. And then my brother's son, my nephew, he was our quarterback. And he's at the University of Wyoming now. And so his other son, my other nephew, he's now the quarterback. And so it's been really awesome. My brother Tim is the middle child, though. And so now he's my boss. And now he's kind of bossing me around a little bit. So that does happen. So I moved up into the booth. I'm in the booth. Tim's on the sidelines, and that little separation is good. 3 boys in my family. So we fought a lot. We love each other. We compete with each other, but at times we get a little testy. So I think it's good that we're not both on the sidelines.
That's brotherly love. I love it. Seahawks got a joint practice, by the way, with the Titans on Friday ahead of that preseason game on Sunday. Where do you stand on joint practices? We know Mike Holmgren was not a fan.
Well, he wasn't a fan because we had 4 or 5 preseason games. But what happened when the NFL lockout came, the players negotiated less preseason games, and the NFL took away preseason games. They took away that stuff and less padded practices and no two-a-days. So these coaches were like, okay, well, I'm getting mine. I'm going to get this back somehow. And so they started scheduling joint practices, and they're pretty good because, as you guys know, the quarterback at practice wears a different color jersey. You can get good work in an almost live situation. So no one's going to touch Sam Darnold in the joint practice. No one's going to tackle JSN in a joint practice. So it's live, best on best kind of scenarios. and really competitive against someone new. And there's also a factor, too, I think, for Seattle coming to, let's just say in this case, Nashville. The humidity is a real deal down here. Like, it's a real thing. And understanding your process in that kind of humidity, I think the Seahawks play in Virginia against Washington early in the year. I remember for me, we would practice in the dry heat of Cheney or in Renton, and it was did not prepare us for a week 1 game down in Jacksonville or something like that. So I think there's other benefits that come from these joint practices. But in this case, I think just staying away from the quarterback's a pretty big one.
Okay, let's talk about that dry heat in Cheney when you guys used to train at Eastern Washington's campus. Chris thought it'd be a good idea to bring up the story we did with you back in the day with Seneca Wallace when you guys agreed to go around town and throw the football at certain targets. Do you remember anything about that fun-filled day in Cheney?
I remember being nervous. I feel like we threw it through like a coffee drive-through, like one of those drive-through coffee shops. And like if you hit a tire or you miss a bucket, like no big deal. But if you could break something with the other glass. I mean, we were like dude perfect before dude perfect.
Look at that shot right there.
Jim Zorn used to take us bike riding. He said the conditioning test wasn't hard enough, and he would take us bike riding in those fields. Those were good memories. I kind of miss Cheney. I loved it. I loved training camp in Cheney. It was the dorm life. It was pretty good. Notice none of these passes are going in, though.
Well, there you go. You got one. We know you're a hooper as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's a pickup truck one coming, too, where we kind of went a little too fast in the truck for you to throw to it. But, man, you were such a good sport back then, like still are, obviously. But that was such a unique opportunity for us to be able to have some fun with you guys out on location where training camp was a lot different.
That is so great. Yeah, I'm getting memories here with Seneca Wallace. He was just an amazing athlete. Usually when we did quarterback challenge type stuff, Seneca would beat us all in the quarterback challenge type things. But, look at you, Paul. That was a pretty good scoop. Scoop and score. That's tough to do.
Paul was driving and scooping and scoring. Did Dave Pearson approve this, by the way, guys?
You know what? They said yes to everything back then. I think the Seattle Post-Intelligencer put a picture of like me and Dilfer with our shirts off on the cover of the sports page one year. I mean, anything went, like literally anything.
Oh, that's great stuff.